I've always wanted to write a book exactly like 48 Laws of Power, because human psychology, if you really think about it, when you're taking a human psychology course in high school and college, wherever it is, it's because you want to know how humans think.
Yeah.
When you know how humans think, what can you do? You can make them think whatever you want them to think, because now you know how they think. It's just the way that we frame it. So like what I did with this book is like, I've been wanting to write it because marketing is literally just understanding how humans think. And if you can get them and you know how they think, you can get them to buy whatever you want. Like the only way that humans remember anything is through emotion. That's the only way that we remember anything. Like, so if you really want people to remember you, if you want them to remember a core memory of something that's happening, attach more emotion, whether it be anger, sadness, happiness, fear, whatever it is, attach an emotion to it and people will remember.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of A-Town Talk, the #1 podcast in Anthony, Texas, and the only podcast in Anthony, Texas.
Woo woo.
Woo, 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 woo. I can't reach my soundboard or else
Sorry, I'll do it for you.
There you go. Today, my co-host for today is Jasmine Powers.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Hello, Jasmine. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for popping in.
Yeah.
And our guest today, you guys know him as El Tiburón, the brand shark, Ruben Alvarez.
That is in fact me.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good. That fucking fly. So yeah, man, welcome. Thanks for coming on board. You got a new book out that we're gonna be covering today. But before that, I kind of just wanted to, I've known you for a couple of months now. We met through the CFC, but I don't think we've really interacted much than like small talk at the events and stuff like that.
No heart to hearts yet.
Yeah, not yet. So I want to be best friends by the end of this podcast.
Okay.
So I want to get to know you.
I'm going to tell you about all my dad issues then.
Okay, gotcha. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Where you from? Where'd you grow up? And who is Ruben before he became El Tiburón?
From California, Southern California, born and raised. It's just I didn't. So it's funny. This book, I didn't talk anything about it, and my first, I think it was the first one that I talked a little bit more about, like my upbringing and stuff, and it was literally I single family home, right? My mom, and she ingrained in me really that she just believed that I could do anything, and I think part of me being Mexican in Southern California, the place where we lived at was predominantly very American, so I was around a lot of like truly American people, and the first experience that I had in which I realized that it doesn't matter who you are, how you're born. I was first or second grade, I can't remember exactly. There was a chess competition, and I had never played chess before. And by the end of it, I won second place amongst everyone. And I was like, oh my God, like these people, like the guy that won, his dad showed him how to play chess, and like was literally showing him. I'm like, I don't have a dad, and I don't come from this lifestyle, and this is very much so like it's almost like tennis. I mean, tennis, golf, chess, like those are all very Americanized things. And I'm like, that's not the way that I grew up, but sure enough, I was able to kind of figure it out and be American like them. So I grew up with that belief that like it doesn't matter who you are. If you really wanted to do something, like it doesn't matter. Like Steph Curry, I think, is a perfect example. It doesn't matter who you are, how short you are. Like you'll find a way into whatever you want. He's too short to literally play basketball, realistically. So he shoots 3-pointers because he knows that they can't catch him from back there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he doesn't miss either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy's good. Cool. And how did you end up in El Paso after that?
From California, I moved to Phoenix. In Phoenix, I took too long to decide that I wanted to buy a house. The houses shot up. I think they were at like 230,000 when I first got there. By the time I left, they were 420 for the same house. And it's like, how do you justify knowing that you literally moved and they're like double the price and you're going to pay double the price even though you were there when you saw what they were? So it's like, it was too hard. So eventually we moved out way this way. John Rivas, a guy named Angel Sandoval that I met online. It was during COVID. You know what I mean? Like during COVID, like everybody was meeting each other online. So I met him and he said, you should talk to this guy named John Rivas. John Rivas was from over here. He was in Midland. I talked to him. He's like, I'm gonna leave my job. I was like, I don't know why you're fucking leaving your job. You know what I mean? Like 2 months go by. He's kind of doing work here and there, whatever, inconsistently. And after 2 months, he calls me and he's like, "Hey, like I'm leaving my job." I was like, "Oh shit, you're actually leaving your job?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." So he left the job, started doing a bunch of stuff for us, and I think within 5 or 6 months, we had come over here, and we looked at everything. We're like, "Yeah, let's just move." And so we moved.
And that was like the origins of the marketing hunters.
No, that was prior. So like my ex-wife had that company,
Uh-huh.
and basically like I was helping her with some stuff like whenever I could, like after hours and stuff like that, and they were kind of running it.
Hmm.
And then when it came over here, like it had already pretty much started. It just needed that foundational salesperson piece. So
Hmm.
John filled in that piece, and then as it started growing, he became like the general manager, and it just went from there.
Shout out John. Mazel
Yeah,
vibes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool dude. Cool dude.
yeah.
Yeah. When I met him, I had no idea he was a DJ because he's very like self spoken.
Hmm.
Kind of just doesn't give off like DJ vibes. You think of your
Yeah.
DJ and you think like super flashy guys, and yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he gets the work done.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Gets it
sure.
done.
So your first book, that one came out how long ago?
I want to say like 2021,
Hmm.
probably 2021, late
2021.
2021. Yeah.
And what got you into like? Was that something that you always thought about, like, did being an author, or is it just kind of came
Kind
about?
of. It's one of those things that eventually you kind of know you have enough in you to like tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
The issue that I had was I was like, there's no way that my ADD, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I have it or not, but like just how unfocused and how many things I want to do. And then I'm like, it requires so much. Like a book, I don't think people realize the way that a book is built, but it's like, okay, I write chapter one and then I get like tired, bored. I have no more creative juice, whatever it is, right? But I'm just done. So you're like, all right, cool. I'm gonna come back to it tomorrow. You come back the next day, you're like, what the hell did I write about? And you're just like, okay, let me just read through it again a little bit, right? And then the longer the chapter is, the
Mm-hmm.
more you have to remember. So then you're in chapter two, and then you're doing chapter two, and you're like, did I contradict something in chapter one? Because I feel like I kind of so then you have to go back, right? And so you go through this whole book, and you're like trying to write it, and then by the time you're done, then you have to have an editor, and then you're at that editor's whim of the way that they think and the way that they think the book should sound. So they start adding different words. You have to wait for them to send it back to you on their time. So it's just this whole process. And when I realized, I was like, I don't want to write a freaking book, man. Like this sounds stupid.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same as like managing people. You know what I mean? Like it's like you manage one, and then are they this, that, and then it's like at the end of it, you're just like, man, nobody like you need somebody that everybody needs to do their piece. It's kind of like a book is the same way. It's like you need to know what you're writing in each chapter and then frame it, and there's so much that goes into it.
And by the time you got to starting this one, the Black Book of Branding, did you already have this idea in mind from your previous one, or what was the thought process going into this book, the second one?
Most people hate a book called 48 Laws of Power, just in reference to this book. They hate the book 48 Laws of Power. And the reason that they hate it
Mm-hmm.
is because it's a book on basically manipulation. And people see it as a book as like, oh, you can literally take these laws and manipulate whoever you want. So it's
Yeah.
like this taboo thing. You can't get it in jails. I think it's banned in every jail. It's banned in like 30 countries or something like that because people see it that way. There with that same book, right? It's like you could view it as like, am I a manipulator? Am I wrong for this? And it makes you feel really weird. Or it's like if I work a 9 to 5 job and my boss has been doing this to me for years, why would I not want to know? And so when I picked it up, it did make me feel weird, but I was like, there's two sides, I'm either gonna get screwed
Mm-hmm.
or I'm gonna know and choose if I want to screw people or just have the information. I think I'm gonna be on this side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when I was writing this book, I've always wanted to write a book exactly like 48 Laws of Power because human psychology, if you really think about it, when you're taking a human psychology course in high school, in college, wherever it is, it's because you want to know how humans think.
Yeah.
When you know how humans think, what can you do? You can make them think whatever you want them to think because now you know how they think.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way that we frame it. So like what I did with this book is like I've been wanting to write it because marketing is literally just understanding how humans think. And if
Yeah.
you can get them and you know how they think, you can get them to buy whatever you want.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting how this whole psychology aspect of it, because that's something that I've never thought about before. Because I didn't go to school for any of this. It's something that I've just started picking up on my own.
Yeah.
And already I was doing some things that you talk about in your book, but I didn't know I was doing them. I was just doing them
Yeah.
out of instinct. But now that I know there is like almost like a science behind it, like it's
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, that's cool.
Yeah. This
Um,
beer is delicious, by the way. Shout out to Old Sheepdog.
it's great, right? You can really taste the coconut in it. It's like super refreshing. Let me look at my notes here. So you base a lot of this off of, and I'm gonna fuck up these names, so please correct me when I get them wrong. Dr. Robert
Green.
Cialdini's
Mm-hmm.
Cialdini, or what is, how do you say that? Cialdini.
You know, man, like there's a lot of ways to say. Like I was talking about somebody's name, and it was
Yeah.
like I thought it was Risner, and it's Reisner, so I have no idea. You're probably saying it right,
Okay.
and I might say it a different way, and then I'm wrong, and then everybody on the internet's gonna be like, you know,
Yeah.
so
No judgment.
So I'll put up the name on the fucking
Yeah.
screen so people can see
Yeah.
it. But the 6 principles, right?
hmm
So you're covering these 6 principles throughout in every chapter, and you start off on the first chapter talking about the illusion of success.
hmm
And this is where, when I started reading it, I think that's where I got hooked, because I don't think I agreed with a lot of this.
hmm
And I think I don't know if it's maybe my personal like biases, or just, I don't know what it is, but you start off by talking about fake it strategically, fake it intentionally, fake it like someone who understands the perception is everything.
hmm
So that was like, when I read that, I was like, holy shit, like that's pretty powerful.
hmm
But then I was thinking, like, won't faking it only get you so far and hurt you in the long run?
There is only certain ways, and it goes back to psychology. There are
Uh-huh.
certain things that you say that one will get people to listen, and two will get people to actually understand what you're trying to say.
Okay.
So if I say like, what I need you to do is I need you to manifest the version of you that you want to be, you're gonna be like, I do that. You know what I mean? Or it's gonna be
Mhm.
like, oh, really? That's it. But if I say fake it, that gets that emotion where you're just
Yeah.
like, oh man, I don't know if I believe in this. Where now we're talking about it, right? Now we
Yeah,
actually have to
yeah.
talk about it. Now somebody might actually message and be like, I don't believe you. I don't agree with you. And I'm like, all right, cool. Here's what I meant.
Mhm.
Right? Because if I say manifest, people are like, well, I know how to manifest and it's not working, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that, look, like if you think of and when we did our book launch, I did the same exact little tiny bit as the speech. If faking it didn't work, then why did so many people take away money from real marketers that all they did was rent a Lamborghini and pretend they were rich on Instagram like 7-8 years ago, and
Yeah.
everybody thought they actually made it, and they were buying courses in millions of dollars.
Yeah.
If it didn't work, if faking it didn't work, why does it work for them? Why did they take money away from like all of us that people could have spent with us because they gave it to them?
Yeah. I think one of the other examples you talk about is Airbnb. How
Mhm.
when they initially launched, they were posting like these fake listings,
Yeah.
right?
That's
And
wild, man.
yeah, like it's almost like,
You can get away with it, and then after, just like, oops, we did it.
yeah, like that's crazy. Like it's almost like a con artist, but at the same time, it's like if it works, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's you know, there are certain examples I want to put in this book,
Uh-huh.
but through these last 5 years, because I hadn't put out the book,
Yeah.
things started getting worse. Like, for example, one of them was Kanye, right? And I can't really use Kanye right now because everybody knows why. But this manufactured illusion of success, Kanye, you know that song that's like, oh, idiot, and it all, yeah. So when I first saw that, I was like, this is a great song. Like, who the hell is this guy? And I thought that he had been around forever. I saw the video, and I'm like, oh, man, he must have other music. And he did, right? If you've ever seen his documentary, he had that song for like 5 to 7 years prior to it ever coming out.
Wow.
And people were making fun of him for that song.
Wow.
So he would go around with like his boombox and he put it on people's desks. Executives would be like, "Did you check this out?" And he would play it for them. Like, "Oh, Kanye, you get your song out of here. It sucks." And that was the song that he was playing in the documentary. It was literally that song.
Damn.
And I'm like, "Damn, dude!" So he was literally going around like he had made it already. Like he had the boombox. Like, check it out. This song's gonna play. And like when you hear the way he was talking about, it, he's like, "The people are gonna love this song. It's gonna be millions. Like this is one of the greatest songs I've ever put out." I think it probably was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I still remember that song to this day.
And that's where kind of like you're saying he's combining that manifestation, right?
Correct. It's you don't have to, because you do have to fake it because you're not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can go and rent the Lambo, be like, because I'm gonna have this one day, so I'm gonna have it now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Some people use it to fake it, but it's for us, it's more or less like an ethical duty of saying like, how can I take these principles and use them for me so that I can get people to do what I want ethically?
Any thoughts on it, Jasmine?
No, I respect you as an individual in El Paso. I think a lot of people look up to you when it comes to marketing as well as just building a company. I definitely agree with, sorry, there's things all around, but I definitely agree with that. I think you need to have a lot of self belief in yourself. But when you're in ground one and there's all these other professionals, you do have to represent yourself in a way that you've
Yeah.
already existed in that space. Because you walk into a business with torn up jeans, right? And like a crop top. No one's going to take you seriously. You walk in with a good presence, good energy, but you're dressed professionally. You let people speak with respect. They're going to let you sit in a little more. And then they're going to help build you up. So it's exactly what you said. It's not faking it, but never working hard. You're faking it initially. I don't love saying that, but you're shifting who you are slightly, but you're building skills as you go. So one day, yes, you faked it, but now you're already equal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, yeah, that's
I agree with what you're saying.
yeah. It was just like initially you got me with that, but then like moving into the chapter, yeah, I definitely started agreeing with you.
So that's why I put that one first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you got me,
It
dude.
gets
Because
you in.
what's number 3 is the emotion one, right?
Yeah, number 3 is emotion.
So
Mhm.
it's trust me, like it all goes together with each other.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you know this. I know maybe we skip a little bit, but
Mhm.
like the only way that humans remember anything is through emotion.
Right.
Mhm.
That's the only way that we remember anything. Like so, if you really want people to remember you, if you want them to remember a core memory of something that's happening, attach more emotion, whether it be anger, sadness, happiness, fear, whatever it is. Attach an emotion to it, and people will remember.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's like a rage bait in the internet
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah,
It's,
you take up space in people's mind. That's all you want. You don't want that to be good or bad. You just want them to talk about it.
so here's another quote: "Behind curtains, brands are built on grit, guesswork, and control chaos." I really agreed with this one, and this one resonated a lot with me because right now, like we're trying to build a brand.
Mhm.
This is our brand, the podcast, A Town. We got our production company, and I don't know shit. Like I'm learning as I go, and like there's times where I walk into a certain situation and I have to figure shit out on the spot, right? And that was like I think about I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs and stuff, and they all kind of have that same story where like they don't know at first, but they figure it out, right? You put in the work, you put in the hours, and you just kind of learn as you go. So that was pretty cool. The other thing you talk about, success isn't just earned, it's engineered.
Mm.
That was like, okay.
Wow.
And that's one thing I like about your book, man. You have all these like almost like catchphrases after like certain paragraphs or certain things that you kind of just hit like a punchline almost, and then it kind of wraps up the whole thing. And I thought that was pretty cool. And you go on to talk about the story of Henry Ford, how he kind of positioned himself, right? Because that's something that you talk about a lot, positioning.
I don't think enough people like really realize what a crazy madman Henry Ford was and how normal he was, and how he basically said, "I'm gonna build something to get money, so that I can answer every question through money." Like that was like, he never said that, right? But that was literally his philosophy.
Yeah.
They there was a I didn't put this in the book, but there was a time where they tried to humiliate him because he wasn't like a what do they call a professional businessman, right? He wasn't educated, is what it was. So they put him in front of a court and they go, "Well, how can you tell us this or that?" And I think they were saying like, "How can you tell us that this car is the best thing for us if you aren't educated?" And he goes, "Why would I need to be educated when on my desk I have 3 buttons, and depending on what the question you ask me, I push a button and somebody can answer that question for you." He's a crazy man.
Yeah. Yeah. And this whole concept of positioning, can you elaborate on it? Because I found it very, very interesting as well.
Yeah, I mean, at what part though? There's a lot. When
Kind of how like with the Henry Ford example is where
Uh-huh.
he positioned himself to become like this.
Oh, the whole supercar thing.
Yeah, supercar thing.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, this goes with everyone, right? Like, if you're doing a podcast, you can go podcast to podcast.
Mhm.
Or Henry Ford was like, "I'm making a car, and then there's other cars," and it's like, why don't I just create a supercar, and then everybody thinks that we make supercars and that we have the ability to do it. And it goes a little bit more again. Like I try to connect everything, but like the one with the tribes, right?
Mhm.
And Ford and the Mustang. I don't know if you know, on the Mustang, there's one Ford emblem on the entire car. One. The rest of the emblems are all Mustang emblems.
Mm.
So, like I'm telling you, there's certain things that you can do that make you stand apart from others. But when you go toe to toe with everybody, it's a losing game,
Mm.
right? So with the positioning, that's what he saw. He was smart enough to say like, I keep making cars against other people, and like even this, there might be people that are still like diehard fans of the horse. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's like, why don't I just create something that's fun and exciting, that can race, that can go fast, and therefore people stop thinking about the car and now they start thinking of the actual excitement.
Yeah.
Chapter 3, emotion.
Emotion, going back into the emotion. Yeah. Um, chapter 2, first impressions or die trying. That was very like James Bond. I don't know.
First impression or live to see another day.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you say make them pause, make them feel something real, make them remember you. I thought that was really really powerful. And going on to kind of what you were talking about, the first impressions. Um, was that also like what kind of started inspiring like your whole look, like making that first impression where like they see you and it's like, oh shit, like I'm gonna remember this guy?
Yes and no. So the thing with the look is there's a few parts to it. One of them is if again, I my way of learning is I look at other people's examples.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you look at Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny made it the name, the logo, the 2 lines in his hair. And then once he made it, what happened?
He switched up.
He switched up.
Yeah.
It's because you need something to make it. And most people don't want that something.
Yeah.
Most people don't want that persona. They want to stick to their ego and say, this is good enough. And I want people to know them for me. So I knew that something. And originally I wore like these shoes that had like crazy designs. And I think I would try wearing like crazy blazers and like none of it felt right. I was like, and so you start digging and digging and digging. And eventually you find something. Like I used to wear like a lot of rings and stuff like that too. And I realized I'm like, I just like black. I like suits. I like black. And then I used to try to find other suits. And I'm like, I don't really care about other fucking colors in suits. Like I like black suits. That's all I like. My mom bought me this Versace belt a while back. And then I have another Versace belt. I have a Versace watch or whatever. I love snakes, right? Like I love the whole idea of it. I wasn't a big fan of snakes, even though like the whole thing's a shark.
Yeah.
My mom was bitten by a rattlesnake too when she was like 3 or 4 years old or 2 years old. I can't remember exactly what age. But snakes to me is like we aren't supposed to be here. She was supposed to die, so like we couldn't be killed off. So I'm like, there's like representation in like this whole snake thing. But yeah, you just start building, and then the stripe in my hair. I've been wanting to do it forever, and I was just too afraid. Honestly, I was too afraid. And I was like, people are going to judge, people are going to look. And I'm like, that's kind of the whole fucking point is for people to look.
Yeah.
You know? So you just start building and developing the idea of who you are. And the more that you're able to kind of trust yourself and go into it, like the more eventually you find out who you really are.
A stupid question. Your closet, is it just like black suits all the way through?
It's primarily dark colors.
Yeah?
Yeah. Dark or light. That's it. Like, I don't really like color. Like, I don't like blue. Like I have one blue shirt that's like a light blue shirt. Maybe it's a summer shirt and I'll wear it once during summer. But I like black and white. It's super easy. I don't like having to, like lately too, I don't like having to think of complex decisions because I like leaving complex decisions for like actual complex problems. So when I wake up, I don't want to have to be like, what am I wearing today? You know, like, does this look good? And then I'm at work and then I'm like, I don't even like the way I'm wearing this. And then like, you know what? I knew this shirt was too tight. Like I know exactly how this shirt fits. I know how my other black shirt fits. I know how this fits. Like I already know, right? So I don't have to worry about. I know it's hot. That's what I worry about, right? But other than that, I don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah. So I try to channel you a little bit today with all black, but
appreciate it.
It kind of fell a little short.
You're great American.
So here's another thing you talk about. If your first impressions fail, you're labeled amateur, forgettable, or average. I thought that was like pretty crazy. And my question to that was, what can you do to get out of that perception if you do fail on your first impression?
Go to the conclusion of the book and it gives you exercises. That's what you do. That's the very real answer, is because at the end of the book, it actually does summarize and it gives you real examples of what you can do today. They're more tactical than they are, strategic for long term. The main thing though is that I believe that most people view themselves as what they are today, or even a little bit less than what they are today. So like most people say, like, I'm making, let's put a number on it. I'm making 100,000, right? But they're like, what I still feel like is like when I was making 50, right? Because it's like I can't, like they're almost grateful and like oh my god, I can't believe I'm making 100, versus like I should be making $1 million. And I'm going to act like, and I'm not saying like financially, but like if I had $1 million, how much confidence would I have? Right? I wouldn't care about how people thought about me anymore, right? Because I already have the money, right? Like most of the time, it's like we care what people think about us because we feel powerless, right? But when you feel powerful, you don't think about that. So most people have this perception of what they are right now or less. And so I think that if you're able to let go of that and actually start acting as if you already were, that's where it actually the difference comes in actually the first impressions.
Have you had any first impressions, Jasmine, that like you really just like screwed the pooch on it and then
Me?
yeah.
Oh my gosh, all the time, because all I did was talk, you know? So I'm like spilling all my secrets. No, probably. I think what happened was exactly what Ruben said is there were many times where I would act like the person I was in the past. I would fall into self-doubt, lower self-esteem when I knew I worked really hard to get into this room, but I didn't act like it initially because I was grateful. I was extremely grateful.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I caved in and I didn't pitch my ideas that I thought would be valuable to a business. So as time progressed, I just acted like the person I was, as well as who I knew I was going to become. My friend Hope, who does influencing, she said that in her last podcast, like, you've always came in with confidence, but it's also knowing what you're striving to be. And if you act like that, you will become that. And I feel like I have. So it's confidence in knowing, like, no, like, I know who I am now. And I know what I'm going to be and where I'm going. Not ego, but just understanding yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I just remember something we also talked about is the whole imposter syndrome thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that I kind of deal with from time to time.
Yeah.
Because and I say this all the time, I'm not a very confident person. I'm not like super, you know.
I think you are. I think you're just very humble and you don't let yourself fall into ego.
No, so here's how I play it off. I'm when I don't feel comfortable, I kind of just I try to just act normal and act neutral where like I don't show my discomfort. But I can be very uncomfortable in situations, but I just kind of just like you know, go like on autopilot to coast by. But with the whole imposter syndrome thing, have you ever dealt with that like
Yeah.
throughout your career?
Yeah, that's nothing in the book that you'll find on this. Imposter syndrome, I feel I actually did a TED talk on this. It was based on Alex Hormozy. He gave similar advice, and then I turned it into a whole TED talk for like 15 minutes. But the whole thing with imposter syndrome is because you don't feel adequate for a specific skill half the time. Whether that be like I don't belong in this room because I don't know how to talk, or I don't have the skill set, or I don't have the ability or the knowledge, right? If you really want to kill imposter syndrome, it's not about putting yourself through hard situations, even though that's more of a confidence builder thing. It's about working really hard on the thing that you feel that you're an imposter in. So, for example, if I walk into a room and it's like, oh, you know what, like I'm in all this room with all these other marketers, I don't feel inadequate with other marketers. I don't. Like maybe, what's his name? The guy from Ogilvy. Oh, man, I know his name, bigger dude. Rory Sutherland.
Okay.
Maybe that guy. And the only reason that I feel is because maybe he has more years on me, not because of the lack of ambition that I have to actually learn marketing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I saw him, I'm like, bro, what do you know? You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna go up to him and be like, oh my God, Rory Sutherland. I'm gonna be like, bro, like I'm six years into this, right? Like with the manufacturing job that I had, 15 years into this, right? I'm 15 years into this. You're probably 40 years into this. What the fuck do you know? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I go in there like right away. But he's probably, I guarantee you, there's probably something that I'm gonna say that he's gonna be like, really, I never thought about it that way. Because he's probably so deep into like high level corporate stuff that I'm like, oh, did you see this? Blah blah blah. The algorithm is doing this. Like we've actually noticed this, and like influencers are coming back because of AI. Blah blah blah. Like he's probably gonna miss something that he's like, wow, like that's really interesting. I'm like, yes, I got you. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
glad that you know. But it's imposter syndrome is totally just based on the fact that you feel inadequate because you haven't put enough work into the actual thing in your brain, and you know that. And you know that if you were truly obsessed with what you're doing, you would not feel shame in what you're doing.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. Get to it, Johnny. No, that's pretty cool, man. Here's another question for you, kind of going off of like, you know, your interaction with him. Have you ever interacted or like met like, you know, they always say don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Have you ever met somebody that you looked up to and
Grant Cardone ruined it for me.
yeah?
Yeah, because you realize how human they are. And then I was really close to him, and people kept trying to bother him while he was eating. He didn't have security around him, and he's like, he got mad, and he's like, guys, I'm trying to eat my food. Will you guys let me fucking eat? And like, it wasn't like one of those things where it's like he thought he was all high and mighty. He was literally there without security, right? Like he was just trying to eat, and people kept trying to bother him. He's like, guys, I'm a human. Like, let me just fucking eat. Like, I'm gonna go up there. You guys can talk to me, but let me just eat. And so I was like, oh, this guy's pretty human. Like, this guy is very, very human. I met him. We used to look up to Brad Lee. I don't know if you Brad Lee dropping bombs. He has a podcast named that. Very well known in the influencer scene. I think he has like 5 million followers now. Used to be very smaller. I reached out to him one day. I was in Vegas and I was like, "Hey man, I'm in Vegas. Just want to see if I can stop by." He reached back out to me. He's like, "Yeah man, drop on by." I was like, "The fuck, man? Way too easy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just
Yeah.
way too easy." Tim Grover, he was in Orange. I had just met Cardone. I had just met Bradley. I had a coach. I was like, "Hey, this dude's coming." He's like, "Bro, reach out to him." I reached out to him. He said no, because he was gonna do a little intimate thing or whatever. I didn't realize it was literally for people in his group. He's like no, and I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, by the way, sir, I just need to win. I like company had just transitioned or whatever, the one that I was at, and so I was like, I just need to win. If anybody cancels, let me know. Like I'll do anything, anytime. You tell me 10 minutes before, I'll go. I just need this, but let me know. No worries. He messaged back. He's like, you're in. I was like, son of a fucking bitch. That's 3 for 3 now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, who was the last one that what's his name? That he's controversial now, but Andy Elliott. Andy Elliott, again, another super big one. I think he's like at 3.2, 3.4 million. We brought him to El Paso. You know what I mean? So it's like, it really is like, if you want to meet somebody, you can meet them. You know what I mean? Like even Coldplay, if you really wanted to, if you were down the street and you know that they're coming, just be around that night because you know they're going to be at some hotel.
Yeah.
And then you meet them and then you're just like, oh my God, oh my God. They're like, oh, since there's no crowd around, they're like, yeah, man, how are you? They'll probably have a conversation with you and it totally ruins it.
Yeah. Or just like climb the mountain when they're at the Sun Bowl and
Yeah.
watch them through there. That shit was crazy, dude. Fucking people. You know what the funny part about that was that they posted that in their like on their page and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And it's like, damn, El Paso is gonna be known for the people in the mountain. Did you end up going to the concert?
No,
No?
no. I've been to EDC and nothing comes close to EDC. So,
Mm.
and then my sister went, I think like 13 or 14 years ago, and I saw the braces, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I went to EDC. They have a 30 to 40 minute fireworks show every night for 3 nights.
Damn.
And like it doesn't. I don't know. Have you ever been?
I've never been. No.
Okay, you no.
No.
So you're there and you're at EDC, and then the fireworks start, and you're like, ah, cool, and you're looking up, and then they keep going, and then you're sitting down, and you're like, oh my God, and then they keep going, and you're like, oh my God, and you're like, and then your brain starts going through all the things that you think would go through. I've never seen fireworks go this long. I can't believe they're still going. When are they gonna stop? How much money is this? And then after all that, right? Like you're like maybe 10, 15 minutes in, you're like, this is really beautiful. And then you start thinking, I can't believe I'm experiencing this. I can't believe they put this much money in us for like us to experience this. And then the next day you're like, I get to do it again. So yeah, the Coldplay thing, I'm like, that's cool. I don't really like their music. I don't really like their songs. I've seen flashing lights before and I've seen fireworks. So like there wasn't much to it for me to be excited about.
Yeah. I would have wanted to go. We were doing an event that weekend.
Yeah.
Well, actually Friday was available, but they sold out fucking quick. And then the other thing that turned me off to the idea of it was the Sun Bowl. Like I've gone to the Monster Truck Jam, and it's a pain in the ass going in, and it's an even bigger pain in the ass getting out. And I was like, I don't want to deal with
I
crowds.
heard
like
till
that.
like 2 or 3 in the morning, people were like still trying to get out. And then the first night, I guess they didn't check bags. They were just letting people in without checking them. So
Yeah. No. UTEP, you guys got to do better, man. It was cool that they came though.
Yeah.
I do think that's cool. Anyways, back to the book. Okay, this is something that I liked, and I've kind of studied up a little bit on it. Is Mr. Beast.
yeah,
You talk about Mr. Beast, how he, you're talking about hooks, right, in videos, and he instantly rewards his viewership with the hooks. Like he lets them know what's coming, and it just hooks you in. With me transitioning to videography and all that, I'm trying to work on that. That's something that I've been trying to do. What's some advice or tips you got for me, or you're just anybody out there that wants to have engaging content and really want to grow through that?
the main thing is that you have to think of the viewer, and most people don't think of the viewer. And most people think virality, and most people think of like all that stuff, and obviously like Mr. Beast, right? But when you look at Mr. Beast, why is he going viral? He's going viral because he's doing things that go viral, right? So most people try to compare themselves to the wrong person. I don't know if you know who Stephen Graham is. Stephen Graham is another YouTuber, but all he talks about is business content, right? His videos, even though he's doing hundreds of thousands, never do as good as Mr. Beast. So most people try to take it in that realm, right? Also, education-based content always takes longer than Education content takes longer than actual virality or entertainment based content. And most people don't want to like admit to that. They say, I don't want to. How many times have you heard, I don't want to dance on for TikTok?
Yeah.
But you want fast results, which is stupidity, right? It's like, I want to have the safest trip to my house, but I don't want to speed.
Mm.
Like, how the fuck are you going to get to your house fast then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just teleportation doesn't exist, right? So that's the issue. If you really want to look at hooks, you have to know that no matter how good your hook is, if your video sounds like an ad, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right? We've been interviewing people. The way we interview people is, and we know that people love El Paso, so we tell them about where we're at, and then all of a sudden people watch the video because they're like, I know where that's at. Oh, I've actually never seen that. So it's like that's the hook. Even though we're educating them because we're like letting people know about like who the business owners are, there's different hooks. So it falls on that. It falls on the person. It falls on how funny you are. It falls on how much you don't care, how natural you are. There's a lot. Again, it's all psychological factors and triggers and things that we use. Falls on emotion. Emotion's a big piece of it. But the main thing would be just really think about who's watching your stuff, why they're gonna watch your stuff, and ultimately that's what makes a lot of the content successful or unsuccessful. I've been looking at a lot of like collaborations lately. Collaborations are like phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
Phenomenal because you know what your baseline is. Usually your baseline is a certain amount. Once you bring another person in, it doubles or triples half like a lot of the time
Yeah.
what you do because now it's more interesting for people. I don't know if you've realized this. It took me a while to realize this, but if you're watching one show to another, or if you go from one doctor to another or one business to another, what's the only thing that changes?
The location, I
No.
guess. Oh, I don't know. You got
I
me
don't
there.
know.
Stumped.
It's people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the only thing that makes something interesting or not is people.
Right.
So if you add more people, what does it do?
Just make
Makes
it
it
more
more
interesting.
interesting. Right? That's the reason that we watch certain shows over another, because we're choosing to watch people.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Yeah. Mic drop.
We're just like, oh, really?
No, that's true. And that's something, I agree with that. I've been doing a lot of that with the collaborating, and I did it. I did it for the reason where because I like working with other people and because I want to learn from them. If I work with another videographer, I'm like, well, what can I learn from this guy? I like to see what they're doing, and even when I hang out with them, like I always like check out their kits and stuff, and it's like super nerdy stuff. But like I'm looking at their cameras, like, oh, that's a nice lens there. But yeah, you do learn a lot from the collaborating. Jasmine, I think, is one who collaborates with like everybody.
I know I can accredit that with you have to collaborate with an amazing videographer, at least in my realm. So me and Bmart have worked very hard on our content, but it's reaching out to individuals, especially when you don't think they're gonna answer back to your DM. Most times they will. And then you just don't take it personal if they don't. And if they like your content and you stay consistent, they'll come back. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Usually they do.
Let me ask you this: how is what are your thoughts on the influencer scene here in El Paso or micro influencer scene that we got going on here?
I mean, there's two sides to that question. 7 or 8 months ago, I was declaring religiously that influencers were dying. Within the last 4 months, it took a 180, and it's because of AI. More and more, I think that within the next year or so, there's going to be this like anti-AI, almost like racism. Like if it was an actual race, like if AI became a race, there would be races to it.
Yeah.
To where it's like we have a preference towards humans. And so what people before were like, influencers, like, I don't know anymore. Like, I don't know if I necessarily want to, like, I know they're trying to sell me something. They got paid. And now, like, now that there's AI videos, people are like, I'd rather see the influencers video.
It's like a pendulum, right? It always swings.
Yeah.
You
and then
never
it
know
comes
what the
back.
next curveball is,
Yeah.
man. That's the problem. Like, the best and worst thing about being in marketing is the best thing is that it's always changing, which means that if you can change fast enough, you have a security. The worst thing is that it's always fucking changing.
Yeah.
So
how do you adapt to that? How do you stay relevant and adapt to the times and change with it?
I feel like you have to love anxiety and stress is the real answer. Like you have to be hooked to things changing and like love it as much as you hate it.
Mm.
Because if not, like I truly believe that that's why most marketing companies go out of business, or they start shifting into like, now we're AI marketers, now we're this type of marketers,
Mm.
now we're this, now we do home service, because they realize that there's no money to be made in actual marketing. Like if you want to have an actual marketing firm, it's going to take so long, because you have to establish and you have to be able to keep revising everything as it happens.
I've been digging all the Yeti and Bigfoot AI memes right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're super entertaining, dude.
But think about this. They're entertaining right now until you find a podcast that takes away revenue from you. Then what are you going to think about the AI videos like the Yeti ones?
They're like, fuck you.
Yeah, you're not going to want to watch them. So
Yeah.
that's a shift that I think is going to happen.
Mhm.
Is we all love AI until it becomes our enemy, and then we're all going to hate it.
As long as it doesn't.
Terminator.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude, fucking
No.
Judgment Day. I'm ready for that shit. You ever watch
Terminator.
Terminator?
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of like an older movie, but dude, fucking love those. Emotions.
Yes.
This was my favorite chapter out of all of them. Logic makes people think. Emotion makes people move fast. Not just move, but fast. And it's true, man. Emotions beat logic every time. What are some things? Oh, go back. I need to learn how to put periods on my stuff, dude. On my notes. You're talking about how emotions beat logic every time. So, what are some things that content creators do to make people feel emotion?
So going back to this one, I really like this one too, because like I was trying to find a way to write it. You know what I mean? Like what I was trying to say. And then when I wrote that, I was like, oh, this is actually better, because it made me realize something too. Again, the whole point was like, if you make people feel, then they remember, and if they remember, then usually that's enough incentive for them to act. You know what I mean? Um, what's crazier about this is that if you really think about it, the only reason that you'll get somebody to do it today versus like tomorrow or even 100 years from now is because of emotion. Because the only reason that I would want to become a millionaire tomorrow is because I feel like I'm gonna die,
Mm.
and that's fear. Or if I want to
Mm.
become a millionaire tomorrow versus 50 years from now, is because I want to enjoy seeing my mom have
Yeah.
like a house that she can live in. But the moment that I take out all emotion, then I'm like, oh, well, I could do it in 50 years. This is stupid. It's all logic.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about anything, whether you get somebody to watch, whether you get somebody to buy, whether you get somebody to sign on the lease today, or like, secure a contract, whatever it is, it's because they have an emotional attachment that their life will get better or in some way change, and they want to do it, or else they would just wait.
What do you think about that, Jasmine? What's your take
I
on
know.
emotions?
A lot of people focus on their hustle, and they're hustling constantly because of the fear that they're never going to succeed, especially in their parents' lifetime for sure. That's definitely my story initially. I was just so scared that, I was so lazy or scared of even trying to hit success that I never did it. So one day I'm like, well, if I keep on acting like this, I'll never be successful because I'm so afraid. So the fear of just never taking the leap is the reason why I started hustling so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like most people, it's very easy to just clock in to the 9 to 5 and then want to be a millionaire, So
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, if I just think like everyone else, like my friends, my family, and like my mindset right now, I'm not going to get anywhere. So I agree. It's all emotion. But logically, you can think like, okay, if I don't let the outside world affect me, and I just stay consistent on my grind, I'm bound to be successful too. So it's emotion, but knowing also when to tame that emotion and be like, let's logically just keep on focusing on work. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like you're very emotionally driven, or do you feel like you're more logically driven?
Oh, I think I'm emotionally driven for sure. But at the end of the day, I definitely had to learn to think more logically because I
Mhm.
know a lot of businessmen, like in my family, that would tell me like, Jasmine, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. Like, why aren't you just pursuing videography? Like, you don't have to be the perfect person. Why don't you have a podcast? You don't have to be the perfect person. So it's like I use my emotions to fuel me and my own journey, but I don't let them hold me back when they're negatively affecting me. It can be used as a powerful source, but when you see yourself in self doubt and fear, that's when you think logically and be like, clock it, check yourself.
Yeah. And that's hard, man, because I feel like I'm a very emotional person.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm so emotional.
Yeah, not in like the type where like I cry over things or like,
What?
oh, that podcast
No, I'm
sucked.
kidding.
Move the camera away. Move the camera. Give him a
Yeah.
second.
I cry.
But I think in the sense where I'm very like I'm very empathetic and I care what people think or feel more than think. I think I don't care what they think, I care what they feel. So if they feel a certain way about me, then I care about that.
Mhm.
But if somebody says like, "Ah, you're stupid," but like they don't, I feel like they don't mean it, then I don't care. Um, but yeah, I think it's hard to connect with. It is and it's not. It's hard to connect with your audience, as an influencer using your emotion because you have to open up and you have to be vulnerable, and that's fucking scary when you have to, you know, share that vulnerability with the world.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Um, I think that it's easier for us to be honest than it is for us to be lying.
Okay.
When I found out that we were gonna get divorced, like I told my ex-wife at the time, I was like, I need to put this out there because I don't want people to think that I'm hiding anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's my reality. It's like I don't want people to think like, oh, he's ashamed or like, there it is. And I'm like, I don't really care. Like, if you find out something, it's like what, and I always say like, if whatever you heard about me, good or bad, it's all true. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, just whatever you want to believe. And the other one is like, like the reverse Will Smith. It's like keep my name in your fucking mouth. Like that's really all I care about. You know what I mean? There's two problems that everyone's gonna have. You're either gonna have no money or you are gonna have money, right? Too much money, and then when you have too much, then you're gonna have people that want to sue you, that they hate you, that they're gonna talk bad about you, they're gonna call you a thief, they're gonna come after you. Or you're gonna have the opposite, where it's like you're gonna have a hard life, somebody's gonna get cancer, you're not gonna have enough to pay, you're gonna have to watch them die, you're gonna live in a car, everything's gonna taken away from you, the house is gonna burn down, the insurance is gonna pay for it. Like, which one do you prefer? You know what I mean? So it's like I just look at the two opposite spectrums of everything, and then really just decide which one you want.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the whole thing where this like, in social media, people always post like the good stuff and the happy, and they never post the negative. Do you think there is a benefit of posting the negative? Like you said, you were talking about your divorce. Like it can be seen as a negative thing, right?
Yes and no. Most people don't know how to inspire through negative.
Mm.
The purpose is not to tell people that it's negative. The purpose is to say, my life fucking sucks and I'm going to make it better. And if you're crying through that,
Mm-hmm.
then there's conviction in you. But not like, oh my God, I lost everything and I need somebody and nobody's here for me. And nobody knows how to do that. So
Mm.
everybody's like, I should be vulnerable. And then they post themselves crying. And it's like, you look like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what did you give people from that? You gave them pity. Like, realistically, if you see a homeless person on the side of the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're smiling and they're doing backflips and they say, I'm fucking homeless, but give me $20. And then you see another guy that's like, army vet, everything sucks, nobody loves me. Can I have 25 cents? Which one are you most likely? Like, even they might not be $20.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you're probably gonna give the other guy a ball of like, hey, bro, this is all I got,
Yeah.
Thanks for fucking trying at least.
Yeah. That's true.
Both of them are down on their luck.
Everybody loves a good Rocky story, right?
Nobody wants to see somebody that's given up,
Yeah.
is all it is. And so it's like, if you want to be vulnerable, you can be, but be like, this is my reality right now. And I just want you guys to know that I'm putting this out there so you guys see that I'm not afraid to post it, and two, it's not going to be my reality.
That reminds me of this guy that I started following recently. I forget the name of his account, but it's this guy who had like a 9 to 5 job, and he decided that he just wanted to sail to Hawaii. I forgot, he's somewhere like in the East Coast or somewhere, I don't remember. And he's like, he started posting videos like day one before or day whatever. Today I'm gonna do this, and eventually I'm gonna go to Hawaii. He started posting every day. Eventually he quit his job, and then he bought a boat. He sold everything they had to buy the boat, and then he started fixing up the boat. And then like a year later, he actually sailed to Hawaii, and it became like this like super inspirational thing. And it kind of reminds me of that idea where like, yeah, he because he was super vulnerable. He would talk about him like hating his life, hating his job, but then he did something with it, and then now he's got like 2 million followers and stuff like that.
It sucks because our lives can be anything that they want to be. Again, not in the book, right? Our lives can be anything that they want to be. The only thing that really holds us back is the emotional attachment that we have to things that prevent us from having what we want. That's all it is.
Did you ever hit that moment where you had to take that leap of faith?
I'm doing it daily.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's stuff that I'm sure is gonna come out like in 3 months. It's gonna be like, oh my god, I had no idea, and it's like I can't believe that that's where it's at. It's like it just is what it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I tell this story all the time. Like, last February, I had like the lowest amount of my money. I was negative $7,000. I was like, this is it for the company. Like, I was literally, and I, it's funny because the story is like, I was working out. I was fine in my garage at my house, and I was working out, and then I put it down, and I literally get to like my, like not full, like on my knees, but like down where like I'm crouching, and I'm like, I'm gonna heel my, the bottom of my feet, and I'm crying, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I want to remember this. So I go and I get my camera and I put it on the side of the garage door, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Just so that way I can remember, right? So that's the funniest part of any crying story, right? Is like, that they had to stop crying, take out their camera, right? Like, even when they're like, oh my god, it's like oh my god. So that happened, and then 2 months later, I tripled the company. Not from the -7, but from where my break even was. I tripled it in 2 months.
Wow.
And I remember that somebody texted me and was like texting me, and I was like, oh, they probably want more info or something, right? And so I ignored it. And we had already gotten a good amount of business, and we were already up. And then the next morning, I look at it, and it says, hey, I just want to let you know I'm ready to move forward. Send me the invoice and I'll pay it. And like, I was on my desk, and I put the phone down, and I was like, the fuck is happening? And like, literally, I just like stayed in shock. I didn't know what to do. I got up and I went to the back of where my office is, where we have our meetings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fell to my knees, fell to my floor, started crying. And as I'm crying on the floor, I look up and I'm like, wait a minute, I have a camera back here. I was like, did I get the footage? And sure enough, I have the footage now. So it's just, you go through hard shit, and like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, hard shit doesn't mean anything. It's just, you keep going. If you fail, you fail. And then, like, think of all the hard times where you thought, like, I have a 104-degree fever. I'm going to die. God, please don't let me die. You're still not dead yet. You know what I mean? The hard shit isn't going to kill you.
But for most people, any ounce of struggle can affect their whole trajectory in life, because they try to aim for a goal and then they fail, like most people, because you're learning, and they take it personal. How did you not take it personal? Because that's an admirable
See,
trait.
if you guys had been at my book launch, you would know all this stuff. Because I came, like, what I love, man, is I love coming up with stuff that like easily help people understand concepts. And I think that that's what's great about this book, is like, it's written in a way that like it lures people in. It's very easy to read. I took offense, like I told you, that you read it in a day, because I'm like, damn, is it that easy to read? Like, is it for like fifth graders?
I'm a super genius.
Yeah. But not taking it personal. So think about this, right? Like, if we go outside right now, yeah, in the middle of the day, downtown El Paso, right? Well, that's not where we're at, but like, let's say we were in downtown El Paso, middle of the day, I have a candle in my hand, and I light it, and I'm like expecting people to look at it, and everybody's like, the fuck is this guy doing with the fucking candle, right? I'm still getting attention, but nobody really values the candle, you know? We're in here now, we turn off all the lights, and it's midnight, and I have a candle. How much more do people value it? So it's like, most of the time people take a shot, wrong people, wrong place, wrong environment. A lot of the times, wrong environment, and they give up.
Wow.
Because it doesn't matter how much you push if you're in the wrong place.
Yeah. I love those Rocky edits where he's talking about, like, it's not about how hard you can get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep
Getting up. Yeah.
keep getting up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
but it's
man.
like, why would you want to keep getting hit? You know, that like, I always like, it's like, it's about doing it smart, right? So it's like, okay, last time, let's break it down, right? Last time that you did it, where were you at? Who didn't support you? Who was around you? Were they small-minded thinkers? Were they big-minded thinkers? Were they hating on you? Were your own friends hating on you? Let's be realistic now, right? Because most people want like action. Oh no, well, like, some people would say stuff to me and blah blah. Okay, were your actual friends haters, right? Did your own family support you? Did you actually make it look cool? Was it all about you? Was it all about money? So when you look at all those things, it's like, what were all the actual issues? Not just, I tried it and it didn't work out. Were you just fucking stupid? You know, like, let's be honest. Like, were you just dumb at that point, and now you're smarter?
Yeah. You're learning.
Yeah.
That's smart. Move yourself to different environments if you didn't succeed initially. That's smart.
Goes back to the whole people thing. The only thing that changes is people.
Yeah. And surround yourself by good people. Surround yourself by people that care about you, and want to see you succeed. Yeah, that's good stuff. The next chapter, you're focusing on repetition.
That's my favorite one, dude. That's the one I'm on. That's
Rep-
the one I'm on. Yeah. I mean, the best thing about books is sometimes you can go back and read them and you're just like, yeah, fucking smart, you know? But number 4, I love number 4, man. Like this is the example that I get. Again, I learned by everybody. Like I like looking at how people do it. So no, yeah, there was this guy on TikTok. He used to do hip hop or something like that, or rap. He was doing rap, white boy, right? Like literally, you see him like, and then he has some sort of like disease with his legs. They're skinny, and they also bow inwards or something like that, right? He came out with the country song, and then at first I was like, it's not a country song. Okay, it's not great, whatever, right? And then I was like, dude, looks a little weird. The next one I saw is like they were making fun of him, and he goes, you know what? I actually have this condition, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. I didn't really notice the legs at the first time, but now that's all I see. The next one comes out, it's a song again. I was like, the song is kind of catchy. The next one I see, he's on one of those, they're not called jet skis, but he's on the boat where like they put the little paddle thing over him and then he's hanging onto the thing, you know? And he's singing his song. And I'm like, oh, dude, it's a vibe now. Like I can actually see myself, you know what I mean? Like now he's giving me vision. The next one, he's buying a chain with the part of the lyric in it. The next one, he's doing the song again. The next one, he's with people in the song. The next one, there's like a party going on with him in the song. And I'm like, I'm not annoyed by this. And I was like, there's something here because like I'm very close to listening to it on Spotify, even though it's a TikTok song, right? Even though he was a hip hop person, everybody's like admiring him now. So I'm like, there's something in repetition, dude. There's something in it where like the more people are like, don't you have anything else? And then the more, and they're just like, how does he keep going? And then the more, and they're just like, he can't keep going. And then more, and it's like, guess what? We just sold 25 books, and it's more, and how? And then eventually, you're just like, I'm gonna buy the damn book.
Yeah.
My favorite chapter.
Yeah, and this is where like the slogans come into play, right? And you get beat to death with these slogans.
In different ways, though, man, because like you have, Coca-Cola didn't just keep doing the logo or like, what is it? Pure happiness. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank, but something they basically promise happiness in a can is what it is, which is wild if you think about it, right? Like if you drink this, you'll be happy. It's crazy. The fact that you can even market that, you know.
Well, it had cocaine back in the day, so
yeah, I know, but you think of like the bear, you know, they used to have the Coca-Cola. And see, like everybody knows it, right? So it's like you find different angles to keep repeating it over and over and over again.
That's how I feel with Ruben's content. Every time that I was pulling up Instagram, it would just be the marketing hunters, interview, to a point where I had to pause. I was like, okay, I need to look at other people's content, but you did it right. Because even I, who's never on Instagram, all I saw was your stuff.
I told everybody it would really hate to suck me. Wow.
Whoa. Pause there.
Yeah, pause. No Diddy. Hold on, let me explain. You know what? Opposite actually of that. But whoa, cut. No, you guys said we were
That's a clip. It's just gonna be that.
So wow. No, so it would suck to hate me because literally if you did hate me, you would have to open up and see me everywhere. Yep. So it's like, man, I really dislike this guy, and then it's like, there he is again. And it's like, I just hated this guy, and then it's like, wow, he's on Forbes. How the fuck did he get on? Then dislike this guy. It's like third, and it's like, I dislike this guy. Now he's friends with like everybody here, and I dislike this guy. And it's like, he just did what? And it's like, dude, I would really suck.
This is you said something that I really like. Repetition is what transforms a logo into a symbol, a slogan into a reflex, and a person into a presence.
Yeah.
Branding is an echo.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff, man.
Yeah. I truthfully, I'm not a huge fan until recently of our logo. Like I was pretty hands off. Like I just really liked marketing. That's all it was. I like human psychology, right? So, especially with like all of our staff and personnel, like they were just managing everything. Even though I didn't like our logo, what ended up happening is that because we were such a good company and because we had like all this momentum and we were like doing so many things, our own staff started loving the logo to where I literally said, what do you guys want to make? And I was like, if I made shirts, they're like, we all want a shirt. And they started requesting shirts. And I was like, we need to test out some keychains and stuff. And they're like, I was like, I'm going to buy some keychains. So like I bought I think the minimum was like 10 keychains. Everybody wanted a keychain. I thought literally we were going to take them to the tabletops where like John would go and like give them away or something like that. I think I had like one left because everybody wanted a keychain. And what I realized is like, the logo doesn't matter. I don't think that like everybody wants the perfect logo, and I've realized because our logo is very simple. It's an M and an H, and it's two colors, and everybody thinks it's super creative, and I'm like, this is fucking basic, guys. You know what I mean? And I'm like, there's not much design. It's just letters. It's creative to some point, but it's not like overly creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People love it. And so what I've realized over these years is your logo doesn't matter. Your logo doesn't matter. It could be an X, literally X, right? It could be that. As long as you're putting enough emotion into that logo, literally people will love it. They'll wear it on anything.
I did our logo, A-Town. I did off Canva.
Oh.
It was like a preset, and I just kind of switched it up a bit and put A-Town on it. And yeah, man, people like it, but it's for the same reason. It's not even the logo because it's generic, it's shitty, but it's what it stands for. It stands for the whole community, right? A whole bunch of people.
People love it, man. Especially the more that you put into it, and the more like if you design shirts with the logo, but the shirts are very well designed, like people would just continue to keep liking it.
No, I agree with that because when I created EP Talent, a lot of people came to the event that like we were there collaborating with, and a lot of them just said like, I just wanted to see you in action. Like I just haven't seen you in a while. We've been seeing you grinding it out, and we just wanted to be a part of the event. And that meant a lot because I thought, no, you wanted a free headshot. Yeah, they wanted a free headshot. But at the end of the day, a lot of people were like, it's because we love to see you at this journey. It's the journey of it all. It's like what you said, you filmed yourself at rock bottom and at success. So at the end of the day, like people like you as a person, you know?
Yeah.
And that means a lot.
I haven't shown that video though, because
Oh.
for the same reason. For the same reason, I'm not ready to show that video. I'm ready to show that video when I have something big happen, right? Like let's say I cross my first million, and then I tell people like, hey, you know what? Like this is what you're gonna expect, just so you know.
Yeah.
Right? Because like people don't want to see just like this is what you can expect, and I'm still grinding. You know what I mean? Like what motivation is there in that?
Yeah.
But it's like hey, I just went through this and I got like one of the best things ever. But just so you know, here's you know what you want. Here's what you can expect 2 or 3 times before you get to this.
Another thing you talk about is that the rule of 7, but you've changed it to the rule of 21 because now you need to get, you know, a lot more impressions before someone actually remembers your name.
And that's realistic more than any. Do you want to read them? Because I mean, I don't remember every single one of them. You don't have it on there, do you?
Oh, no.
Grab the book. No. So it's like it's posts, it's stories, it's emails, it's calls.
Yeah.
It's like a YouTube video. It's an in-person touch. Like there's like everything. You got to do everything. And it's really because people don't know how to do it. Because it could be 7 if you know how to do it correctly. If you attach emotion, if you make people remember, if you make them hate you, if you make them fear them, if you make them love you, whatever it is. Most people can't make people like you, by the way. This is like the hardest one. So that's why it's so much easier to go into fear and hate. That's why people do it so often. Is because it's so much easier to do that one. Because I could literally be on here and be like, let's say that you're making $225,000 a year, and you still feel like you're making like 150. People are gonna be like, who the fuck makes 225,000? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's so much easier to hate rather than be like, hey, you know what? Like if you're making 50 and you still remember when you're 25, people are like, I relate to that, but they're gonna forget right away. Rather than if I say 225, they're like, who the fuck is it? He's so disconnected from reality. I'm over here dying, and he's talking about 225,000. Can you believe this guy that just talked about
Another thing that you talked that I thought was pretty funny, you start talking about mainstream slang and how it's so catchy. And I started laughing because you're talking about how it's just repetition over and over.
Yeah.
And I related to this so much because I have nephews, they're young, and I hear them talk and they say like, you know, type shit and cap and all that stuff. And I thought it was so stupid, but then like they said it so much that little by little, then I start saying these things. And then I say it, I'm like,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
They
Well,
got
no,
me.
I'm ahead of it, right? Like I tell everybody, I'm gonna be the 50-year-old dude that's gonna be saying like cap, and like when the first week it comes out, I taught my son about Italian brain rot like before it was a thing. So I was like, dude, have you heard of like what's the main one? I was like cappuccino ballerina, and he's like, no, and my daughter loved it, right? And then 2 days later, I was like, cappuccino ballerina. And he starts laughing. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, the tune tunes to her. And I was like, yep, the tune tunes to her. And so there's like Bombardillo Cocodrilo and like all these other ones, you know?
Yeah.
But like I'm ahead of it. Like there's one that he hasn't heard that kind of is making its way. I don't know if it's going to become a thing, but there's one that was like, she was a fairy. She was
Yeah.
a fairy. Like, so there's that one.
I have no idea about this.
Yeah,
Him
there's
next
another one.
week.
There's one that's like, and a black Santa napkin. Like there's that one too. Like that one's a little bit more underground, but like that one is like this white lady that literally has like she's preparing all the meal for their kids,
Uh-huh.
and then she literally has a black Santa on a napkin, and she goes, and a black Santa napkin, and I guess like all over school people are like saying that one, but yeah, it's just little repetition things that keep coming up, and they stay, and some of them do, and some of them don't, and
So do you have to almost like just embrace it if you want to stay relevant with like the content and
yeah,
all
why
that
not?
stuff? Yeah.
Why would you rather would you rather be the old dude, you know, like our parents that are just like, oh, I can't believe you're saying that, blah, blah. Or would you rather be the dude that's like, hey, did you hear about this? And then they're like, how the f- you know about this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't want my dad to know about this. And it's like, you're late, bro. You're the uncool one, not me. Like, I'm telling you before you even knew.
Yeah. Do you have any slang, Jasmine?
No.
Have you heard of Kevin?
No.
Yeah, Kevin's bad. You don't want to be Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin?
Yeah, you don't want to be from Ohio either. If you hear anybody say that you're from Ohio, you're officially uncool.
Oh no.
shit.
I'm from Michigan though. We're so close.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Damn. Next
Oh.
podcast.
Yeah. Next one. Yeah. I was about dive into your origin story.
It's about
Um,
Ruben.
Yeah.
Like
it's
the
about
camera
Ruben
pans, it
today.
goes back to her. She's like, I'm Batman.
We're running a little short on time here, so I'm gonna kind of go through some of these really quick. The community, that's the community when that one was a really good chapter, man. The highest level of brand is in commercial. It's community. Followers are clicks. Communities are commitments. And then this is the quote that I loved, and I even posted this one. It's not about how many people follow you. It's about how many people follow you into battle. And I was like, damn, that shit's fucking hard, dude. I want to get that shit tatted on me.
All the
Yeah.
quotes.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because everybody, we even had a friend, I'm not going to name it or what she said, right? But we had a friend that would go on and be like, hey, and let's say it's babes, right? Like she had something called babes. And she's like, hey, my fellow babes, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, nobody's fucking calling themselves that, right? And early on, I was like, do I say like I have a shark tribe? And like, they're like, no, you never want to do that. You want people to call themselves that, right? And so like what I've noticed is that more and more recently people have really been like fucking with the shark, you know? And like I put the shark in the book and I was like, should I do it or not? Everybody was yes, right? Everybody was yes. And like within the marketing hunters, we have like a consultant that's like our what do they call it? Not PR, but like our HR, and he does like systems and roles and something.
Yeah.
We might do an acronym for sharks, right? So that way people that get hired on, they become sharks, right? Like as part of the community. And what I realized is that like slowly and surely, like this shark tribe that I had thought about, it does come to you, but you can't label it. Like it really becomes something that if you're doing it correctly, it becomes part of you. And the more you try to force it, the more cringe it really is,
Yeah.
you know?
It's got to come up like organically.
Yeah, people want to like they have to want to say like, can I be a shark? You know what I mean? And it's like, can you? Like, do I charge you for this?
You got to subscribe.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't talk about that link on the show, all right? Like branding a little zesty, you know? Talking about my Instagram subscription, all right? Not the other
not the other one.
Yeah.
We can't say the other one or
Yeah.
else we get banned. Yeah, dude, that's cool. I can't wait to get to that level where I don't even know what A Town would be. Like, what would you call? I guess I can't think of it. Somebody else would have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll come to you. That's
Yeah.
the thing, is just keep pushing. That's the main thing, is just keep pushing, keep refining, keep going, keep making it fun, you know, keep finding ways to bring people in.
Yeah, cool. Last one is Scarcity, and I was cracking up with this one for two reasons. For the one, the COVID example that you're talking about, the toilet paper,
Yeah.
which is just kind of flashbacks to dark times where we were
Brown times.
brown times where we were like, dude, it was so stupid. We think about it now, like it was so dumb that we were panicking over fucking toilet paper.
Dude, do you know who made a fucking killing. You got me cussing now. You know who made a killing?
The hand sanitizer
No,
community.
yeah, the hand sanitizer. But no, you know, if we had figured a way to create vitamin C tablets, do you know how much money vitamin C tablets people made? It's insane to think
Mhm.
about.
Yeah.
Thank you, Old Sheepdog Brewery. I
Oh,
appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Gus. Thank you, Gus. Oh, we have our A-Town cups. Hell yeah.
A-towners. Hey,
A-Towners.
we're the
We're the
A-towners.
A-Towners.
Thank you.
Love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
Thank
man,
you,
it's so
Gus. I
good.
appreciate it.
yeah.
Dude, this sparkling water is so good.
Mm.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Mhm.
cut back on beer a little bit because I've gained like 20 pounds. Like,
Ah, okay. So you're
Yeah.
making me drink
Yeah.
your beers. Got it. Okay.
yeah. So I've like, I need to cut back on beer because
Yeah.
I've been drinking a lot.
Yeah, I don't drink beer. This is apple cider.
Okay,
Mm.
nice. But yeah, these are good.
Mm-hmm.
A little zesty, but they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole COVID toilet paper thing was fucking stupid.
Wild. Yeah.
I remember during COVID, I went to Juarez with the girl that I was dating at the time, and I was thinking like,
Say her name. No.
Call her out.
she doesn't deserve the
Yeah.
plug.
Good.
Uh,
Self-respect.
yeah.
Self-love.
And we went to a Nesmart over there, and I remember walking by the toilet paper aisle, and it's just full.
Yeah.
It's full of toilet paper, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why is there so much toilet paper? And she's like, I don't know, like just, I guess it's just like a U.S. thing where it was people were going nuts for it.
Yeah.
But sure enough, I ended up buying like 2-3 big packs of toilet paper and brought them back. But it was just so dumb, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, scarcity, supply and demand, right?
Again, back to fear.
Mhm.
It's a hell of a motivator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talk about how applying scarcity into like products, right? You make something where there's like a limited drop
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes much more valuable. How can we? And this is me asking, like me as like influencer, like how can I apply that to like my social media or to my brand? I guess.
Well, so really quick, there's an importance to knowing why people value scarcity, right? And the reason that I say that is because I always thought of it as like there's only so much and people are gonna want it. There's a secondary group that want it because they want to feel the exclusivity of other people not having it,
Right.
which is crazy to think about on a psychological, egotistical, narcissistic. And I don't mean this like as a true narcissist,
Mm-hmm.
but like we all have our tendencies that pull us way further than they should, right?
Yeah.
And so for us to say, I want toilet paper because I want to take a picture that I have a piece of toilet paper and other people don't, is really crazy to think about. Because if you can feed into those people are the ones that are willing to pay more, because for them it's not about the toilet paper, it's about the exclusivity and about them feeling special. Has nothing to do with the toilet paper
Yeah.
or fear of not having it. It's the fear of other people having it and them boasting that they have it while you don't. Pokemon cards, for example.
Pokemon cards or like exotic cards that they
Yeah.
make. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lululemon.
Yeah. For you, I would say you need to find different products that aren't podcast related.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that most people try to stay within one product and it serves one niche, and therefore you're not allowed to get a lot of customers unless you do a lot for that.
Mm.
So you have people that might find this interesting, but then the easiest way to grow, you tell me, what's the easiest way to grow a podcast?
I don't know. I'm still trying, dude.
It's on the hot seat.
It's been,
What do
it's been a year.
give me one. What do you think is
So
the fastest way?
I think from my experience is just consistency and networking. Like having the guest. I think having the guest format is probably one of the fastest way. Unless you just go like the viral way and say outrageous shit and people watch you for that.
But no one will respect you if you do that.
Yeah.
Yes,
People
I
with a
agree.
lot of followers is the easiest way to grow a podcast.
Mhm.
The downside of that is that they might not always accept the collab requests.
Yeah.
Okay. So because of that, look at how limited you are. Because you can run through a bunch of people on here, but if they don't have followers, then it's going to grow really slowly regardless.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that is your crutch, what is your solution to apply scarcity?
make it exclusive, make it something where they want to come to you.
Correct. Now, what if they don't find value in that? Then how can you apply scarcity if this is your only product? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
almost have to find a secondary product in order for you to apply scarcity, in order for you to be able to lure people with that.
Yeah, I need to sell drugs to them.
Yeah,
Drugs is the way to go.
it's always the way to go, man.
No.
Tylenol all the day, bro. Motrin. Juarez has them all, man. Dr. Simi hooks you up.
Nope.
Dr. Simi. Hell yeah. Shout out. This episode is sponsored by Dr. Simi. Just kidding.
Dr. Simi.
I was watching, I somehow ended up going into like a rabbit hole. Do you know who Vitaly is?
Yeah. Yeah, he's in jail right now.
Yeah, I didn't know that, dude. And somehow it popped up in my algorithm. And then I went down the rabbit hole of what he did. So for those who don't know, do you know Vitaly? So Vitaly is like this old school. He was kind of like one of the pioneers of like the pranks, like the
Yeah.
YouTube pranks. Older guy. He had gone away for some time. He got canceled out of YouTube and he started streaming, right? And in April, he went to the Philippines and started doing like a IRL stream. He started doing all these fucking like insane things where just really acting like a fool and then thinking he's like this hotshot streamer, you know, celebrity that he's going to get away with it. But people in the Philippines didn't fuck around and he found out and he's been in prison since then, or jail. Actually, he hasn't even hit prison. I think he's just still waiting for his trial.
Yeah. I
But-
think he's like 3 years in, 3 months in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing about like these prisons in the Philippines, they're like overcrowded and you can wait up to like 5 years to even get a trial. So he's kind of fucked. He's originally from Russia and Russia kind of disowned him. The US doesn't claim him. So he's a prime example of a content creator who just was all in for the views and didn't really care about the repercussions really. And I just found that so interesting. I'm like, damn, I hope I never go down that rabbit hole where I'm so desperate for views or attention that I end up in a fucking prison in the Philippines or something like that. But yeah, just FYI, if you want to check him out, Vitaly.
Okay.
Yeah. There's another side to that, is that you can honestly never go too far. You really can't. Like, he could come back as a streamer if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's done it.
Yeah.
He did it, yeah.
Well, you have Logan Paul with the taboo thing that he did in the forest, right? You
Yeah.
have Kim Kardashian that has sex tape.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's much. Our president, who will be unnamed, grabbed somebody by a place that he shouldn't have and said it out loud and did not get canceled. So there's a lot that you can come back from. There is very little that you cannot come back from. I don't think there's anything you can't come back from, honestly.
Damn, you think that's just like an America thing, like US? We just got into that point where everything pretty much goes now.
It's not a U.S. thing. It's a internet thing.
Internet thing.
It's absolutely an internet thing.
Mm.
I'm saying these for examples because most people are like, I'm going to do a TikTok dance and I'm going to go too far. And you're like, no.
Mm.
Kim Kardashian having a sex tape was too far and putting it out, and now she's famous.
Yeah,
And regardless of what people say, that is how she got famous.
yeah, that's true. Damn, would you do something crazy, Jasmine?
Oh my God, don't say that sentence and then look at me. Like, what?
Oh, no, I'm not talking about.
No, I'm not
sex.
saying that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying no. I think at the end of I'm saying like the examples and like
after
This is a
that, answer
podcast
the
for
actual
boys.
question.
Yeah.
you can tell it's a podcast of guys, and I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
No, I feel like I say some things that are dumb that could
Mhm.
be canceled, but at the end of the day, no. You stay grounded. Don't do crazy things to
Yeah.
get views, and people will see that.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I don't know.
All right, man. How are you on time? You got to go.
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. Just the last thing you talk about in your chapter 7 is persuasion. Branding at its most powerful level is about control and persuasion. Persuasion isn't manipulation, it's alignment. Selling your soul is compared to wearing Crocs. That was one of the notes. Are you a big Croc hater?
I am.
Yeah?
I do not like Crocs.
Yeah. I'm on the same page with you, man. I don't think you'll never see me wearing Crocs. As a man, I think that's one line I refuse to cross.
You don't cross the Crocs.
No.
Yeah. No, there's something about like I like their shoes. I think their shoes are decent, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about like you're 20 years old wearing a 60-year-old man's shoe. Like realistically, like if you really look at them, that is a 60-year-old man's shoe. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way about Birkenstocks when they came out and people were wearing Birkenstocks, and I'm like,
Birks.
mm,
I love a man with Birks. I'm just
Really?
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
mm.
kidding.
Like I like seeing them toes.
No, I don't. They just give off hipster vibes.
If there's hair on the front of the toes,
Ew.
even better.
That's so
Oh, yeah.
gross.
Nah, yeah. I mean, I'm all about comfort.
Mhm.
I'm the type of guy that'll go comfort over fashion any day. But yeah, Crocs, nah, I just can't.
There's very few things that I think in my life I put up with, and I think that's why I'm so hard, especially like on not only El Paso but like local. People say like support local, and I'm like, I'm not gonna support local if it sucks. I'm sorry, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's the same reason that I have the issue with Crocs, and reputation and everything, which is there are people who are willing to put out Crocs comfort with design. So why would I support Crocs if there's something that is better than that, right?
Mm.
And so it falls into the same thing, which is reputation. It's like there's so much reputation, and if I support something like Crocs, and I'm saying like this is good enough, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so therefore everybody else believes it's good enough, and you're part of the actual problem, right? You can't have innovation and you can't have progress if we keep settling for things that are just good enough.
Yeah, you gotta always go for better,
Mhm.
for sure. All right, man. Well, we'll start wrapping up this pod. Again, really, really good book. I know we kind of just skimmed through it, but everybody, you guys should check it out. Where can people find your book?
Amazon, they can pick it up on the corner. I'll be over there slanging books, $20. Bring cash app, whatever you want to do.
He'll
I
be
tell
the one in
everybody, dude, you
black.
want to freaking pay in Bitcoin and a goat, like it doesn't matter. Like I'll find a
Goat.
way to turn it into cash. So like,
yeah.
just get the book. That's pretty much all that matters to me. Everybody goes like, "What do you accept?" I'm like, dude, if you go to the blood bank and I can transfer it into cash, like you could pay in blood. I don't really care. Just buy the book, you know.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, check them out on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle? Is it?
I am Ruben Alvarez.
am
It's really
Ruben.
easy because
Okay.
I am that person that
You are
is on
you.
I am.
Okay,
That's
cool,
me. I am
cool.
Ruben Alvarez.
Cool.
No weird spelling either. Like it's RUBEN, no A, no I, no E. Like don't make it weird. Just Ruben.
Check them out, guys. Give them a follow. Check out the Marketing Hunters. Jasmine, thank you so much for jumping on today. Anything you want to plug today?
Yeah, go follow EP Talent, as well as I'll be showcasing some new events coming up on my Instagram, Jasmine Powers, with no Z, with an S. Keep it simple. JSMI.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. And I've been Johnny. I'm just Johnny. Big shout out to Sheepdog, Old Sheepdog Brewery for
Your last
hosting
name
us.
Sins?
No, that's a different
Oh,
Johnny.
okay. You don't
I
have
am-
a dad named Austin? No.
No.
Okay.
I am bald though.
Why?
I'm bald, so
You play a lot. You play a doctor too.
yeah, I play a dog. I have many. I'm a man of many professions. Anyways,
Sorry, threw a wrench
Yeah.
in your outro there. I didn't know if it was super professional. Like this is Johnny A-Town Talks. We'll see you next time.
we'll see.
Thank you, Ruben,
Yeah.
for joining us. Jasmine, you've been
Thank
great.
you. Thank you so
Until
much.
next time, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Sal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sal. All right, that's it, guys. That's it for another episode. I got nothing else. So, cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.